Welcome to Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown video for April 24th results. Also 205 Live as well. Birthdays. On the 26th, Crusher Jerry Blackwell, he was born 1949. Kane, he was born April 26th, 1967. The Yeti, 1970. Amazing Red had a birthday. He was born 1982. And we now know why Alexa Bliss has not been wrestling a full match since the post-WrestleMania 34 Raw. It was noted by Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio that Bliss recently underwent breast augmentation surgery, confirming recent speculation that heated up when Bliss missed the recent WWE tour of South Africa. She's participated in commentary only and backstage segments on Raw since the New Orleans show, but she has not wrestled. Outside briefly appearing in the 10-woman tag team main event on Raw this past Monday, where she took no bumps, Bliss is still scheduled to face Raw Women's Champion Nia Jax at the May 6th Backlash pay-per-view, which WWE has been reiterating on social media this week. Bliss looks to be enjoying some time away as she tweeted this video on Tuesday. It's only like 8 seconds. For those who missed it, Percy Watson was recently added to the WWE 205 Live commentary team. This will be a permanent change as Watson will call the show with Nigel McGuinness and Vic Joseph each week. There was some speculation on Watson working 205 Live when Nigel was away for the birth of his daughter, but the show now will have a three-man announce team each week. 205 Live had a three-man team for the first 3 months of the show: Mauro Ranallo, Austin Aries, and Corey Graves. Well, due to him leaving WWE, he's with GFW. So they had to replace him eventually. But they've used two men since March of 2017. Former WWE superstar Elijah Burke was backstage for Tuesday SmackDown in Louisville, Kentucky. We noted how boxing legend Evander Holyfield was also backstage, and it appears the two are friends or business partners. No word yet on if Burke was visiting or if he's looking to make a return. We last saw him working for Impact as an announcer and a part-time wrestler in 2017, using the name of The Pope. It used to be The Black Pope. D'Angelo De Niro. Burke has announced his TNA Impact GFW departure in mid-August of 2017. He last worked for WWE in 2008. And show you a photo of that. Him backstage with Kofi Kingston, as he looks surprised. And he says on Twitter, "Great seeing my friend and former travel partner at True Kofi at SmackDown Live, but I gotta ask, why the surprised look? PHS, Poke has spoken." Hashtag WWE, hashtag SmackDown Live, hashtag Real Deal Pope, hashtag Real Deal Boxing. Mickie James took to Twitter on Tuesday also to tweet the following message to Ronda Rousey. This week's Raw ended with Rousey making the save as Mickie attacked Natalya. Mickie versus Rousey should take place on WWE TV soon, as they will be facing each other at some of the European live events next month. As Mickie wrote at Mickie James, "My arm is fine. Okay, maybe a little sore, but just fine. Thanks for all your prayers and well wishes. I just adore my public. I am so truly touched." But it's here, right? She says, "You're all too kind." And at Ronda Rousey, "How dare you? I'm a freaking legend." Dean Ambrose continued to rehab his torn triceps injury with WWE doctors in Birmingham, Alabama, as he was spotted back in the city late last week. According to PW Insider, Ambrose has been out of action since December, and it was reported that he will be out of action for 9 months. While winning December 2016 match to earn a right to challenge for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, Zack Ryder tore up his knee. He was out for about 6 months, and when he returned, the opportunity he won for himself and then tag partner Mojo Rawley was gone. The Hype Brothers failed to re-earn a number one contendership. Then they feuded with a now heel Rawley going over the former United States and Intercontinental title holders. Nothing much was done to push Mojo. and both men were moved to Raw in last week's Superstar Shakeup. Now this, Ryder again injured. A pick from last night before my match with Real Mike Bennett on hashtag main event. Treated it like we were wrestling on hashtag Raw. Unfortunately, I suffered a knee injury. While the rest of the roster is flying to Saudi Arabia today for hashtag WWGRR, I'm flying back to Orlando to get an MRI. Dang. Here's hoping it's something minor or at least doesn't require another surgery. While there's probably weren't major plans for the 32-year-old on Monday nights, he's still a talented performer who's a definite asset on house shows and can deliver in a big spot. Like his WrestleMania 32 IC Championship win. Update from Wednesday, as Zack Ryder suffered a knee injury from Monday's main event match against Mike Kanellis before Raw in St. Louis. Ryder flew back to Orlando to undergo an MRI instead of flying to Saudi Arabia for Friday's greatest Royal Rumble event. Ryder took to Twitter today and revealed that he's just suffering from MCL, ACL, and calf muscle sprains, not a complete tear. Ryder will not need surgery and should be at next Monday's Raw in Montreal, as he tweeted. At Zack Ryder, got some good news this morning. MCL, ACL, calf muscle strains. Nothing completely torn. No surgery will be needed. Thanks to everyone who reached out. It's time for hashtag Raw to get hashtag Zack. Here's a new video of Dolph Ziggler and Renee Young interviewing cast members of Marvel's Avengers Infinity War movie, including former WWE champion Batista. They play a game of superstar or hero with the animal. The Infinity War directors, Don Cheadle, Zoe Saldana, Chris Pratt, and others. And some of the stars from Infinity War were also on Jimmy Kimmel Live. They did a gimmick on there. As noted, Samoa Joe will be voicing the Predaking character in the Transformers Power of the Primes animated series, which will also feature Ron Perlman, Judd Nelson, and Mark Hamill, who made his debut as Megatronus in the final of the second chapter of the trilogy, Transformers Titan Return. Transformers Power of the Primes launched May 1st worldwide on Verizon's family of media properties, including Tumblr, Go90, and select Oath properties, except in China, where it airs on Sohu.com and Japan. This third and final chapter of the digital series features 10 episodes at approximately 11 minutes per episode. You can check out a trailer at this link for the series. The Sun has an article looking at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The story claimed that The Rock's net worth is $220 million, crediting celebrity net worth. The Rock's reveals he was in talks with Vince McMahon for a WrestleMania 34 match. Speaking of The Rock, the sequel for his blockbuster hit Jumanji will be released in December 2019. According to Deadline.com, The Rock, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, and Karen Gillan will be reprising their roles in the film. The original earned $957 million worldwide and $404.1 million domestically, surpassing Spider-Man to become Sony's biggest domestic hit. WWE Hall of Famer Holly Race was backstage from Raw in St. Louis. 7-time former NWA World Champion lives in the area. Natalia posted a photo of her on her Instagram account here. Boxing legend Evander Holyfield was backstage for SmackDown in Louisville, Kentucky. As I told you earlier, the Real Deal talked to Dasha Fentez about being a fan and more in a backstage video. I did not get the link. Didn't even see it posted, even on the website. Dark match prior to SmackDown in KFC. Yum. In Louisville saw New Day defeat The Bar when Kofi Kingston pinned Cesaro. The Bar has yet to make their in-ring TV debut since coming to SmackDown in the Superstar Shakeup, but they did appear in a backstage segment for the New Day with the New Day on this week's show. They claimed that this would be their last Blue Brand appearance, as they are looking to win the vacant Raw Tag Team titles by defeating Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt at Friday's greatest Royal Rumble event in Saudi Arabia. SmackDown opened up with a graphic in memory of Hall of Famer Bruno Sammartino. We hear fans chanting Bruno's name in the arena. Live from the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, Tom Phillips welcomes us to the show. He's joined in by Corey Graves and Byron Saxon. We go right to the ring for Miz TV. And out comes Miz for his Blue Brand return. You can see the action at this link. Miz took the mic and is met with some heat from the crowd. He reminds everybody to shut their mouths when his hand goes up. Miz declared that the A-lister is back on SmackDown, making it the A show once again. Miz says one thing is missing, a title. He goes on and says he will win back the Intercontinental title at the Greatest Royal Rumble event on Friday in Saudi Arabia. Miz says he will beat champion Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, and Finn Balor to bring the title back to SmackDown. Miz brags about elevating the title and says that in 3 days, but tonight is now. And this is what the world has been waiting for. Miz talks about tonight's guest, saying he still holds a grudge from talking smack. Miz goes on about Daniel Bryan and recently welcoming his first daughter into the world, saying he's a changed man now. Miz brings up Bryan's Twitter threat on punching him tonight. He goes on and introduces tonight's guest, but Bryan never shows. Music hits and out comes Big Cass instead. Promo of Cass's life. Best single promo he's ever done. Miz asks Cass if he can help him. Cass says it looks like Miz needs a guest, so that's why he's here. Miz says he was supposed to interview Bryan, and Cass says no one gives a dang about Bryan. Cass talks about how hard he worked to return from his injury, but who else was cleared on the same day he was cleared? Daniel Bryan. All he hears from the WWE Universe is Daniel Bryan this, Daniel Bryan that. But no one was talking about Big Cass. Cass says he's been living in the shadow of an ordinary little man. Miz and Cass have words before they face off in the middle of the ring, with Cass looking down at Miz. Of course, he's head and shoulders above the Miz, being 7 foot tall, and you can't dig that. Miz says this isn't about them. This is about Daniel Bryan. Cass cuts him off and talks trash about Bryan and his look. Cass goes on about the fans and how they will never live their dreams because they are a bunch of Joe Schmoes. Cass talks about how he was once like Bryan, but he got tired of it and grew to be 7 foot tall. He then went back and got payback from everyone who pushed him around before. Cass goes on and says he despises Bryan. Now, here he is in WWE, and he didn't have to work bingo halls or Japan or indies around the world. No, he just did indies locally. Cassidy O'Reilly. He's here because he's tall, educated, and good looking. That makes him valuable. That makes him a star. That makes him money. Cass says he won't be living in Bryan's shadow for much longer because he's going to send Bryan back to where he belongs, on the shelf. Beaten and retired, Cass says Bryan will never cast another shadow over him, or anyone else ever again. Cass mocks the yes chant and drops the mic as his music hits, and Cass leaves the ring as Miz looks on. So to come segment, a backlash contract signing for Charlotte Flair versus Carmella. We see Asuka and Becky Lynch walking backstage for the next match, but the camera cuts to the side, and we see Daniel Bryan down on the ground, clutching his arm and selling an injury. Adam Pearce and a referee check on Bryan and call for help as we go to commercial. Back for the break, and Tom says Bryan has been taken to the trainer's room to be evaluated. He promises an update as soon as it is available. Asuka and Becky Lynch versus the Iconics. And the action should be seen in this link. We go to the ring, and the Iconics are waiting with mics. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay talk about how good they look on the big screen. They mock Becky Lynch and then Asuka. They break down how they are better than Asuka and call her the Empress of yesterday. They go on about being the future of WWE until the music interrupts. Out comes Becky Lynch as Gregory Hamilton does ring introductions. Asuka was out next to follow up with her SmackDown debut. We get some stalling to start the match, but the screen splits with a commercial break. We see Billie starting the match off with Asuka. Back for the break, Asuka has control of Peyton. Becky tags in, but Peyton rocks her. They trade counters and pin attempts as Becky gets some offense in. They run the ropes and Becky drops Peyton. Becky misses in the corner, but hits a springboard kick to send Peyton back into the corner. Becky tosses Peyton, but she's able to tag in Billie. Billie turns it around on Becky and uses the ropes as the referee warns her. Billie then distracts the referee, allowing Peyton to deck Becky with a cheap shot. Peyton then tags back in for some double teaming and another quick tag. As fans chant for Becky. Billy keeps Becky grounded. Becky finally gets a hot tag to Asuka, and in she comes. Asuka drops Billy, and she goes to work on Peyton. Becky comes in to stop a cheap shot. Asuka takes Peyton down and hits a hip attack. More like a butt. The rear view. Becky tags back in for a double team hip toss. Asuka with a running kick to the nose. Becky with a leg drop. Billy goes back off the apron. Becky bumps into Asuka and knocks her off the apron. Becky unloads on Peyton. Becky fights off Peyton and Billy. This leads to Peyton rolling Becky up and putting her feet on the ropes for the cheated win. As Asuka comes back in to help Becky back up. And Billy and Peyton celebrate as they head to the back. Renee Young backstage outside of SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon's office. WWE Champion AJ Styles comes walking out and he's all smiles. AJ says Shane just gave him the chance to soften up Shinsuke Nakamura before Friday's big match at the Greatest Royal Rumble. AJ says Nakamura is bringing his friends tonight, Rusev Day. He would then take them on in a handicap match if he had to, but he's got some backup. It's going to be a 6-man action. While he doesn't name his partners, he says they're too sweet. As he walks off, we already know who that's going to be. Announces Hype Friday's Greatest Royal Rumble event on the WWE Network. Still to come segment, the Backlash contract signing for Charlotte and versus Carmella back to commercial. Back from the break, we get a vignette for newcomers Zelina Vega and Andrea Ciamas. They will be coming soon to SmackDown. All it was. Usos backstage talking when Naomi appears. Jay Uso leaves. Jimmy Uso wants his wife to promise that she won't come out and get involved tonight like she did last week. Naomi says that she looked the Brunson brothers in the eyes last week and saw nothing. She knows that this is her life with Jimmy, but she has a bad feeling this time. She asks him to stop playing and be serious. Jimmy tries to calm her down and says he's going to take care of Rowan tonight and then take back the SmackDown titles on Friday in Saudi Arabia. Rowan versus Jimmy Uso. We go to the ring. Out comes SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Bludgeon Brothers. Rowan and Harper back to commercial. Back for the break. Announces plug Make a Wish and World Wish Day. We see Wish Kid, Alec and his family sitting at ringside. Usos are out next as the Bludgeon Brothers wait in the ring. The bell rings and Rowan drop kicks Uso as he approaches. Rowan beats on Uso and works him over. Jay ends up getting booted by Harper on the floor after jumping over him. Jimmy turns around on Rowan on the floor and sends him into the ring post. They come back in. Uso fights him off the top with a crossbody for a 2 count. Uso is up on top again, but Rowan shoves him off, sending him face first into the barrier. Rowan follows and flattens Uso on the floor. Rowan yells out and brings Jimmy back in the ring. Fans try to rally for the Usos as Rowan scoops him on the shoulders. The music hits, lights go out, and out comes Naomi to distract. Harper and Rowan stare down Naomi as she dances down the ramp. Jay attacks Harper from the side, sends him into the steel ring steps. Jimmy takes advantage in the ring with a super kick to Rowan. And Jimmy rolls Rowan up for the win out of nowhere. After the match, Usos hurry to Naomi and start celebrating. The Bludgeon Brothers look on from the ring as announcers hype the title match in Saudi Arabia on Friday. Still to come segment, Rusev Day and Nakamura versus AJ, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Also, Flair and Carmella signed their Backlash contract by the commercial. Back from the break, Renee Young is in the ring for the contract signing. She plugs the SmackDown Women's title match at Backlash on May 6th. Calls out champion Carmella first. Renee goes to introduce Charlotte Flair, but Carmella cuts her off and takes the mic, complaining about disrespect. Carmella goes on about how it's unacceptable for the champion to be introduced first, to be introduced before the challenger. She says this isn't Flair's kingdom any longer. It belongs to her now. Carmella says that she has something to address before Renee gets all boring. Carmella says she's Renee's champion, and more importantly, she's the champion of everyone in the crowd. And they boo her, and she fires back. Carmella goes on about last week's celebration, and it says because she's champ and makes the rules, she's going to play the same highlight reel again. But this time, when it's over, people will be standing and showing her the respect she deserves. She calls for everyone to stand and show respect as we see the video package again. We come back and the fans are booing Carmella instead of giving her the standing ovation. She says that's not good enough. So she's going to play the video again. She reminds them to stand and cheer when the video is over and says, we're going to keep doing this until the crowd gets it right. The video plays again, music interrupts the video, and out comes Flair to a pop. Flair stares at Carmella while walking through the ring. Flair takes a seat while Carmella struts around and mocks Flair. Renee asks her to be professional and take a seat, but Carmella raises the title and wastes more time. She finally sits, and Renee says it's time to make the title match official. Flair signs the contract first and smirks at Carmella. Flair throws a woo at Carmella after signing, and we have a few words while standing up to face off with Carmella going to raise the title. It appears she did not sign the contract. This quickly leads to Flair slamming Carmella's face into the table and tipping it over. Prior to that, Carmella taunted Flair by doing the woo herself. Well, after tipping the table over, Flair left the ring as the music hits. Carmella recovers and scrambles to grab her title. Carmella looks on as Flair heads to the back. And now to talk more about Friday's GRR event in Saudi Arabia. Joshua Fentez backstage knocking on Shinsuke Nakamura's locker room door. Aiden English enters and says, no interviews. We see U.S. champion backstage walking. Back to commercial. Back to break. Tom Phillips says Carmella signed the Backlash contract during the break. Randy Orton versus Shelton Benjamin. Yep. Next, we go to ring. Shelton Benjamin was out first, followed by U.S. champion Jeff Hardy out for the non-title match. But apparently, Hardy makes it halfway down the ramp when the music interrupts. Out comes Randy Orton. Just like last week, Hardy was expecting it. Orton heads to the ring for the match. The bell rings and they lock up. Shelton takes it to the corner and the break as the referee counts. We see Jeff watching the match from a chair at ringside. More back and forth start. Shelton drops Orton with a shoulder and then trades counters. Shelton blocks the RKO. They go to lock up again. Shelton kicks Orton in the gut and works him over. Shelton takes Orton to the corner and attacks as the referee warns him. Orton fights out of the corner and sends Shelton to the floor. Orton brings Shelton to the apron for the second rope DDT, but Shelton fights back, turns it around. Shelton with a big kick while on the apron. Shelton with a charging kick to the head, which sends Orton out of the ring and down on the floor. We go to commercial break. Back for the ring. They're going at it in the ring. Shelton blocks a shot and drops Orton with a kick to the jaw. Shelton keeps Orton grounded. Orton finally looks to make a comeback with offense. Orton hits the draping DDT as the fans cheer. Orton hits the mat, falls forth for the RKO. Shelton recovers and rolls to the floor for a breather. Orton follows and slams Shelton face into the announcer table right in front of Hardy. Orton looks like he might toss Shelton towards Jeff, but Jeff stands up and tells him to hold on. Jeff watches as Orton slams Shelton on top of the announce table. Orton brings it back into the ring. We see a masked man run from behind and take out Jeff's knee on the floor. Orton unmasks the man in the ring, and it's Sue Neil's scene. Apparently, Sue Neil is still on SmackDown, and his wrestler is on Raw now. Orton drops him with the RKO. This led to Orton turning around and taking a pay dirt from Shelton, and Shelton covers for the win as the match was still going on. After the match, Shelton stood tall as his music plays. We see Orton down in the ring and Singh down on the outside. Jeff recovers at the announce table as he's looking on. New Day's backstage celebrating the Book of Booty, available online and in bookstores everywhere. The Bar walks in and interrupts Sheamus and says, assure the New Day that they won't see them on SmackDown after tonight because they're winning the vacant Raw Tag Team Champions on Friday in Saudi Arabia. They knocked the SmackDown Tag Team division and do their catchphrase to taunt the New Day. They each grab a pancake and leave. And they look like, you really just took my pancake? And put your hands on it, and then he came back to get it. AJ Styles backstage with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. They embrace and are happy to see each other. They trade the 2 sweets and start talking strategy as we go back to commercial. Back from the break, we see a vignette for new tag team from NXT, Sanity, who will be coming soon to the Blue brand. Renee's backstage outside the trainer's room waiting on Daniel Bryan. Bryan comes out and says the doctors are just taking precautions and he will be ready for the 50-man Royal Rumble match on Friday in Saudi Arabia as he come back from worse before. Bryan reveals that SmackDown General Manager Paige has granted him a match against Big Cass at Backlash. Bryan says he will use the momentum from Friday's Royal Rumble match to take care of Cass and show him that everyone is the same size when they're on the mat tapping out. As Bryan walks off, we get a backstage video from Samoa Joe. Joe talks about winning the WWE Intercontinental title on Friday and then watching Roman Reigns get massacred by Brock Lesnar. Joe says if Reigns somehow survives and wins the WWE Universal title, then he will also take that title to Backlash. Believe that. We hear fans chanting for Joe in the arena. AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson versus Rusev. Aiden English and Shinsuke Nakamura was up next. We go to ring out. First comes Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and AJ Styles for your main event. That's the commercial. Back from the break, out comes Aiden English to sing and a rap version for interest for Rusev. Rusev Day heads to the ring. Shinsuke Nakamura is out next with a mixed remix theme and new entrance video. Styles, Gallows, and Anderson start the match off with offense and quick tags, keeping control of English. Gallows rams into English with an elbow, and then comes Anderson off with another quick tag. AJ comes in for the double team. Rusev runs in, but Gallows stops him with a big boot, clearing the ring. The club stands tall with the 2 sweets in the middle of the ring as we go back to a commercial. Back from the break, Rusev is working on Anderson. AJ comes in and turns it around. Nakamura taunts AJ and causes him to chase, which ends up allowing Rusev to take control of AJ. English comes in and takes control of AJ, taking him to the mat, slowing down the match. Screen splits with another greatest Royal Rumble promo. The heels keep control for several more minutes until Gallows comes in and unloads on English. Gallows with a 2 count as Rusev breaks up the pin. Everyone gets involved as the match falls apart. This leads to Nakamura hitting Kinshasa on Gallows for the pinfall. After the match, the winners are announced, but AJ immediately hits the ring and attacks Nakamura. They tango for a minute until Nakamura nails another low blow on AJ. Nakamura waits for AJ to get up for the Kinshasa. Nakamura charges, but Anderson runs in and jumps in the way, taking the bullet as he takes a Kinshasa for AJ. Nakamura taunts AJ as he recovers, and Nakamura waits for Anderson to recover. Nakamura then nails Anderson with another Kinshasa as AJ watches and he can't stop it. We go to replays and Nakamura's music hits. We come back to Nakamura standing tall on the stage as AJ checks on Anderson in the ring. At that point, SmackDown goes off the air, and we go to 205 Live results. Drake Maverick welcomes us to the show. He's ready to reveal all 5 competitors in tonight's number 1 contenders gauntlet match. Sorry, having a ton of internet issues. Do my best to update ASAP. From Maverick's Twitter, Nigel McGuinness is back, and he explains that a lottery was held backstage earlier to determine the order of entrance in the gauntlet match. Vic Joseph and Percy Watson remind us that we're having this match because Buddy Murphy didn't make weight last week. The gauntlet starts now. Mustafa Ali defeated TJP by pinfall, following up. They still are reporting it as 0-5-4 to advance in the gauntlet. Even going early, but TJ dabs at Ali in between some grappling. Mustafa Ali answers with an arm drag takedown, but a big shoulder block inside cradle gets a 2 count for Perkins. Ali puts TJP on the floor with drop kicks and a spinning kick, but TJ uses the ropes to take control, kicking Mustafa to the floor before we go to a split screen. Cedric Alexander was interviewed by Dasha Ventez mid-match and says that Murphy's loss is a big opportunity for the rest of the roster, but it's the age of Alexander, and he'll be ready in Jeddah for whoever emerges as number one contender. A battle atop the turnbuckles brings both men down to the ground, where Perkins hits a drop kick to Ali's knee and then locks in the knee bar. Mustafa struggles to reach the ropes, finally making it. He gets some separation and stands to land the tornado DDT and climb for his finisher, but he's hurting. And this next action can be seen here. And this link is Drew Gulak defeated Mustafa Ali with referee stoppage when Ali can't respond to him while in the Gulak as Gulak advances. Gulak then smiles, mocks Ali about his wounded knee, and then grabs him and throws him against the ropes. So his knee bounces off the top rope, and that can be seen in this link. As Gulak defeated Tony Nese by submission with the Gulak, and Drew advances. Nese controlled the match, even hitting his running knee finisher. But then he decided to pull Gulak back to the corner to punish him by hitting it again. Drew dodged, then played possum so he could grab his former tag team partner to lock into his signature submission. Kalisto then defeated Drew Gulak by pinfall, following the Salito del Sol to become number one contender for the Cruiserweight Championship at the greatest Royal Rumble in history. Kalisto attacked early on, split screen for Dasha to ask Nese how he rebounds from this loss. He just sees and walks off without saying anything, and that can be seen in this link. Lucha House Party is out for a confetti-filled celebration, along with Kalisto. Cedric came out to the stage for a sportsmanlike stare down. The WWE posted a video of Ty Dillinger calling new SmackDown superstar R-Truth to find out why he wasn't at this week's show in Louisville. Truth got confused once again and thought the show was in St. Louis, where Monday's Raw was being held. It sounds like Truth will be live on next week's SmackDown from Montreal. Dark main event after 205 Live in Louisville at the KFC Yum Center saw United States champion Jeff Hardy retain over The Miz with a Swanton bomb finish. That concludes my SmackDown 205 Live results. Peace out. See you when I be it. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.